welcome to the Resilient Runner podcast. My name is Jacqueline Gordon, and this is episode number 2. So today I want to talk about a book I've been reading, and it's called We Share the Sun. And it's a fantastic book if you're a runner. It's about Patrick Singh. He's a 3-time silver medalist for the steeplechase in the Olympics, and now a prominent coach for Kenyan runners of all distances. 2 or 3 of the names that you might recognize is Faith Kipyegon, Kipchong, and Geoffrey Kamworor. Sorry, I've ruined all those names, but if you're in the running world, hopefully you can decipher the 3 runners I'm discussing. Anyway, Patrick just has a beautiful outlook on life and running, but one of the stories that resonated with me and one that I wanted to share today was of Geoffrey Kamworor. So Geoffrey was a 2-time first place winner for the New York City Marathon in 2017 and 2019. And he trained at Patrick Singh's camp in Kenya, in Iten, Kenya. It's Iten. And anyway, he was training by himself during June of 2020 because of COVID restrictions, and unfortunately was hit by a motorbike, shattering his leg. And he was unable to even walk after the surgery. And so it took months and months of rehab to even see if he could return to running. And eventually they put their sights on Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which was pushed to 2021 due to the coronavirus. So June of 2020, Geoffrey was running, hit by a motorbike, and the first thing that was shared in this book is, he said, despite the fact that he couldn't walk, he gave himself one choice: let me accept the situation. I thought this was a good place to begin with today's podcast because injuries can catch us by surprise. Sometimes they're overuse injuries, sometimes they are an accident like he had, and we think, I wish this never happened. When am I going to return to running? What does this mean for my life? And sometimes that puts us in a state of freezing. We just don't know what to do. And I love that he said, just let me accept the situation, because that is the first step into healing. You're not going to heal or rehabilitate from an injury if you're stuck on the fact that you did not want that situation to happen, that you do not want to be in the place that you're at. So, to my first point, accept the situation. The second one that I really liked, and I'm going to read straight from the book because I thought it was well done. It says, when he couldn't walk, he was stuck at home, they brought in a stationary bike. Now, bikes are not a popular thing in Kenya. The roads, the infrastructure are not set up for bikes. So a lot of kids did not learn to bike, they ran. So this was a new experience for Geoffrey. And this is a quote from the book. Said, mental endurance, Singh says, is both innate and conditioned. Extreme fear can have an impact on your outlook later in how you deal with things. Though Kamworor wasn't able to run, at least he could walk. Even though it was a struggle, at least he could move. Progress is progress. And that leads to the second point of today's podcast. Progress is progress. If you are rehabilitating, the little things are what matter the most. It's getting off the crutches. It's taking off the brace. It's walking again. I think it's easy to get focused on, well, I'm still not where I want to be. I am not running. I understand that those are frustrating, but progress is progress, and it's going to keep you focused and in the game to win it. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if you're constantly neglecting the little wins that you make, through your rehabilitation journey, such as walking or getting off the crutches, you're really going to resent the entire process. If you start to see the satisfaction in those little wins, then you're going to start staying motivated to get the next little win and the next little win. And ultimately, tiny little wins added up over many months will lead you back to your sport more often than not. And so celebrating those wins, acknowledging those wins is really the best thing that you can do during the rehabilitation process, because it's hard to stay motivated. And then I wanted to get into one more quote from the book, and that is when Patrick Singh was talking to Kamworor about his injury. He really wanted Kamworor to speak to his other runners about it. Singh had purposely wanted Kamworor to talk about his experience as an encouragement to others that even when you think you are down, you're not down. That is so true, and it's hard to remember that in the thick of rehabilitation process or through the thick of an injury. So when you think you're down, you're not down. The picture he wanted to paint, a two-pronged intention, one to give people hope, two to realize that injuries are normal. Part of the best way to heal is to share. So, two huge things to unpack there, right? Sharing is the path to healing. You are going to lose some of your community when you are unable to do your sport, and that's tough. And you feel like you lose the ability to talk to people. All the things that you used to talk about, they may not be there anymore because you're injured. And so when you share your experience of the injury, not only are you allowing people into your life and allowing them to be there for you, you're being vulnerable, but you're allowing people to see you and see your struggles. They can show up for you better. Secondly, people need to know what you're going through to help you. So if you don't tell them, they don't know how to show up, and they can't be the cheerleader that you need. There's a lot of times where we're really good at being our own cheerleader, patting ourselves on the back, celebrating the little wins, but they're the days that kind of mentally and emotionally dark, where you're struggling to go through the process to keep getting those little wins, and you need that person that shows up and says, you've got this, you're stronger than what you're going through right now, and there is the other side. You will get to the other side of this injury, okay? So I think allowing people to be there for you, sharing your journey is a really big process to healing. And what he also said is injuries are normal. Injuries are normal. And I think it's hard for us to remember that we're not the only ones that have gone through this. We're not going to be the only ones to go through this. And so you need to embrace this journey and know that it's not a reflection on you. Even if it was something that could have been avoided through extra strength training, better programming, it's a learning lesson. And if it was truly an accident, it's an accident, and those happen in life. And so, injuries happen. We have to have a way to get through them. And as he so beautifully put in this book, accept the situation, and progress is progress. And so, besides this book just being an amazing book for any runner to read, the last thing that I want to leave you with is a quote from Patrick Singh, and I think that we can all take this through our week. Do your best. There's nothing else. So with that said, go out, do your best this week. There's nothing else. And I'll see you in the next podcast.